So this is going to be another one of these ad hoc videos, basically where I'm just kind of winging it. I mean, I do have a script, but I'm probably just going to ignore it because whatever. So this is the C64 that I picked up a few months back that I just have not been able to get to work. I can't get video out of it. I just get a black screen on RF and I get nothing out of the AV port. So I've tried taking out all the chips that aren't required for boot up, such as the CIA chips, just to see if I can get anything. And I can't get anything. I checked the voltages. Everything seems to be okay in terms of the capacitors, although I don't have a real true way of testing them. So I'm just kind of winging it with that. But everything seems to be okay otherwise. So one of these chips are obviously bad. It could be the VIC-2, it could be the CPU, it could be the memory. Who knows? Dead test cartridge doesn't do anything. I did try a different PLA chip. I got a plankton. It did not help either. So the only thing left really to do is just start swapping chips out until I find the offending chip. And unfortunately, I just don't have other spare chips. I can sit there and buy, a new CPU, some new kernel ROMs, memory, etc., and I'll effectively have a new C64 by the time I get done with it. Oh, by the way, ignore the noise in the background. The furnace is running and I think the dryer's still going off. But, I don't want to necessarily go that route and just start swapping things out at random and end up spending probably more than I pay for this whole thing in general. But I did anyway. Move this out of the way. Now, I didn't go crazy overboard or anything. I just went and bought another broken C64. This one you can see is heavily yellowed, but it has a similar issue to mine in that it doesn't display any video. I decided to take a gamble on it because it wasn't that expensive, and also I'm hoping that the reason this has no video is different than the other one. But I already took it apart because of the fact that I wanted to make sure that it wasn't incredibly damaged inside or anything like that. So I already took a poke around, and I'll show you what I discovered. And I'm going to hide part of it because I don't want to show that off just yet. I'm not quite sure if it'll show up on here or not. Let me see if I can zoom in. There we go. If you look carefully, first thing I notice is that one of the ROM chips is chipped. And obviously that's not good, although upon closer inspection, it doesn't seem like any of the electronics inside have been damaged, fortunately. I took a look at the rest of the board. Everything else seems to be fine. Everything else seems to be functional, as far as I can tell again. Capacitors look good. Nothing else appears to be damaged. I haven't taken the board out of the case yet completely, but I may do that in a bit. But I, of course, decided to look under the RF shielding. My apologies. The camera decided to just freeze up for a second there. So, but anyway, I looked under the RF shielding, and yes, there was a VIC-2 chip in here. I took it out. The reason I took it out is because I noticed one of the pins were bent. I figured, is it really that simple? Did they not bother to look? Because the thermal paste is definitely dry. So my initial thoughts were that maybe someone opened this up because it stopped working, poked around, and damaged this. But my other thought is that more than likely someone might have tried to repair this, didn't know what they were doing, or was careless, and as a result, not only bent one of the pins, but they bent two of the pins and broke one of the pins. And on top of that, another pin had some thermal paste in it, as well as the socket. So I'm not sure what happened there. Did someone just goof up and like, oh, well, I'm not going to bother anymore. I'm just going to throw an eBay and that's it. Or was this the original owner? Maybe they were attempting to repair. Maybe they were trying to do a mod or something like that and got in way over their heads. So now it's not that big of a deal. I can solder on a new pin. I can unbend these, or at the very least solder on some new pins to make them work. And it's entirely possible that this VIC-2 chip works. But just in case, what I'm going to do is take the VIC-2 out of my board because this one's in great shape, and we'll see if there is any video. So let me get that set up here. Let me pause it here so that I don't lose any more footage. Okay, so I took my VIC-2 out, and we'll take a look here. There's a little bit of thermal paste I got on the pin, but it's fine. Notice it's very top, so I'm not too concerned. So now what we'll do is we'll just put this in, and then I'll plug it into power and some video, and we'll see if we can get it to work. Make sure that I don't have any of these bent. So there's that. Now, one more look over. Another thing I noticed is that these two boards are the same assembly number. They're both same artwork number, and they're both revision B boards. This one has a much greener solder mask than the original one does. The other thing is that this is an MDK25HB, whereas this is a W1894HB. I'm not sure if that makes a difference or not, but these are different because the other thing that I noticed is that the one that I had sockets, whether they were factory or not, I'm not sure. These don't. The only socketed chip is the VIC-2, and I believe that for the most part, throughout the entire C64's life, only the VIC-2 was socketed, for sure. The rest were hit or miss. The other thing I noticed is that these chips had some red ink on them for the chip identification, whereas these are just all white. Again, probably not a big deal. Probably doesn't matter. It is what it is. So let me go ahead and hook up the power supply, get some video, hook up to a television, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I don't have a second camera right away to put into the TV, but if I do get something on there, I'll obviously try to refocus this one. So let's go ahead and plug in the power. These cords are all tangled. These older power cords, very stiff. All right, moment of truth. Black screen, just like mine. So at least it's consistent with that regard. We'll leave it on for a minute just in case, and we're also not going to call it quits yet on this because of the fact I can still use a test cartridge to see if there's anything that it can show up. But it's also possible that this has the exact same issue as mine, and I'll never fix it. It could also be that this board was damaged when the VIC-2 pins were bent and the ROM. So we'll see. Power this off. And also would attempt normal troubleshooting steps such as removing unnecessary chips, but since these are soldered in and I don't have a great desoldering tool, I'm not going to attempt it at this time. Oh, of course that fell. Let's see if anything changes. Nothing. We'll give it a minute just in case. Nothing at all. No. One thing I'll have to do is check voltages of the power switch just in case it's not getting its 5 volt. Because that can sometimes be a cause of this. I really wish that these were socketed chips. I could just start swapping pieces out from here to my board or my board to here. But oh well, it is what it is. So yeah, nothing on screen yet, so we'll keep digging at it. So unless, I'm just missing something, this may not be getting proper 5 volts to it. I checked it off of the voltage regulator and I'm not able to get anything out of it. This one is producing 12 volts as it should, but I'm not getting 5 volts out of this, so it's possible there could be something with the power socket, the switch, or the voltage regulator. Now, on the other board, the original board that I was originally looking at, everything seemed to be fine from the switch and the socket. I didn't test the voltage regulator though. I may give that a shot. We'll see. But I don't have any spares, even if it is in fact dead, which means more purchases are on the way. So it's probably gonna be some time before a proper C64 video comes out. I may just do a history of it or something like that, just to get something going, so that I have a baseline and a lead up into an actual repair of this. Now, I'm also going to strive to get a proper solder sucker, because all I have is one of those manual pumps and some wick and things like that. Not exactly efficient, especially if I have to desolder every single one of these chips. Of course, I would still start with the basics, such as the PLA and removing the SID and things like that. But for now, I'll have to stop here, unfortunately, because again, I don't have what I need to properly diagnose everything, sadly. But what I do have still is, I do have that I have to work on, and the capacitors, and then I also have an SE in the back. So I'll stop, dragging my feet and actually start attacking this, replacing caps, especially the reefer caps on here. I didn't even bother turning this on because of the fact that it had the reefer caps and they were completely cracked. If you saw the, I want to say October pickups video, September, October, I don't remember. I also had to clean up some corrosion from the battery compartment and on the switch and things like that, but that shouldn't be that big of a deal. And if you remember, I believe I mentioned that the Plus came with an accelerator card, and that will also work in the SE, which is nice because the SE also has the hard drive and everything. So we'll see what I do. They're both yellowed. They both need some retro brighting if I go that route. It's winter time, so I don't really have much sunlight to work with. Maybe I'll pick up a UV lamp or something like that. We'll see. But for now, this is going to have to be what it is, unfortunately. If I make any more progress, I'll post some updates. But that's all for now. I know it wasn't much content in this video, but if you liked it, feel free to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you didn't, thumbs down. Leave a comment as to why. Try to use that to make improvements for future videos. Thanks all, and I'll catch you later.